So if you feel down in the dumps, you feel like you don't have any creative energy at all, you don't feel like making music, and you haven't been making music lately, despair not, because you are definitely not alone. That is a state of all of our lives that we all find ourselves in from time to time. I am certainly no exception to it. In this video, I want to give you my top 3 ways to bounce back from that mini depression or maybe major depression, and how to ensure that you don't completely give up on your dream of making music your full-time job, or at least making music to enrich your life and express yourself creatively, because that's what I know I'm meant to do. And I know many of you guys watching this, you know that that's what you're meant to do. And when we're not doing that because we're in a creative funk, it feels like we've lost our purpose. We're a broken toy and we don't know how to get back to our function and what we're supposed to be doing here. So I'm going to explain to you how I have dealt with that in my sync licensing career over the last 14 years, how I've bounced back from it many times. And I've definitely found myself in that rut many times. And hopefully, if this is useful for you, you can use these tips to get yourself out of a rut and share this video with a friend, a producer, a forum, anybody that you know that might need to get out of that rut as well. So let's just jump right into it. As a professional music producer, which I have been for the last 14 years, creating full-time income with my music through sync licensing, I would say that there is one skill that pretty much rises above every other skill that I've had to master in order to actually do this, actually create income with my music and not completely burn out and not go have to find a day gig or independent contract work to supplement myself. And that has been the ability to bounce back from these creative ruts that we find ourselves in. Because when you are working with a music library, as I have for many years, and you hit one of those ruts, well, it's not like the music library. They can cut you a little slack here and there if you need maybe a couple of days. But if you take too many of those days, or if it's been weeks and you haven't been submitting music to your library partners, they will just kind of move on to other people. There are plenty of other music producers and musicians out there getting involved in sync licensing, and nobody's going to be just waiting around for you to get out of your creative rut. So there have definitely been, days, weeks, even months in my career where I have not felt like making music, but I knew that if I really took that time away from this, I might really lose out on those close-knit and amazing relationships that started to create income for me. So we got to learn how to deal with this. When you do music as an amateur, as somebody that's just doing it for fun, sometimes you don't feel like making music, but nobody really depends on you. So you're kind of just free to take time off if you want to. But if you want to step into the world of becoming a professional, meaning that people rely on you and you have professional relationships with music libraries, you don't really have that luxury anymore. You have to give that up. So you have to learn how to force yourself essentially to get back into that position. So these are the ways that I've done it. Okay, so number 1, you need to accept your state of mind fully. Okay, now I know many of you are maybe rolling your eyes at that going like, well, Jesse, I know I'm not feeling good. I accept that I'm not feeling creative right now, and I know that I'm in a funk. So that's no mystery to me. I know the state of mind that I'm in. That's not what I'm talking about when I mean accept. When I say accept your state of mind, it's one thing to be aware that you are in a state of funk, of low energy, of lack of motivation, of depression, anxiety, whatever you feel is the core of what you're feeling. It's one thing to know, okay, put your finger on it, that's what I'm going. I'm talking about going one step underneath that and saying, it's okay to feel how I'm feeling right now. That's the counterintuitive part, because if you're in that funky state right now, it doesn't feel okay, does it? It doesn't feel like it's an okay place to be. In fact, you want to just desperately get away from it as soon as possible. But I believe, ironically, it is that clutching or that constant desire and that longing to get out of your state of mind, which is actually making it last longer. So I think for me, what has helped is when I'm in these funky moods, if it's depression, anxiety, just not feeling creatively motivated, whatever it's going to be, going deep into a state of kind of, deeper meditation, closing my eyes, getting rid of all distractions, sinking down into that feeling that doesn't feel so good, but reassuring myself, it's okay to be here. This is actually an okay place to be. You might not believe it. That's okay. Just say it. Literally just say the words to yourself. It's okay to feel how I'm feeling right now. It's okay to be where I'm at right now. So what I think happens, and of course, is there any proof of this? I don't know. It's just my experience. I think what happens when you give yourself that reassurance, it's like you're letting the depression, the anxiety, the lack of energy, whatever it is, you're letting it know. You're getting the message that I accept your message that I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I'm not feeling creative and motivated. I accept your condition. I accept your messaging that's coming into my mind and my heart and my body. I accept it. Once the message has been received in your body, you can finally let it go. Because I feel what happens is when we don't fully accept the kind of funk that we're in, we're constantly trying to deny it. We're like, well, I don't feel like I don't feel like I want to make music, but I hate this feeling and I want to get away from it as soon as possible. And so we're not really fully getting the message. We're not really fully accepting the condition from where we're at. And this is definitely something that, as I've dealt with panic attacks and episodes of depression, it always has helped me get through those much quicker than when I find myself struggling with it and wrestling with it and trying to get away from it. When I really just kind of fully submit to it and just go, you know what, this is the river of life flowing through me right now, and it's flowing me into a rudder, into a gutter, into something that I don't really, it's like mucky, muddy water. It's not what I want, but it's okay, and it's where I'm at right now. And as soon as I start getting peaceful with that, I start to very quickly notice that my river goes into a much better direction for myself. So that's the number one thing to do, okay? Number two, I have to remind myself of this on a daily basis, okay? So this is a really easy thing to forget. You do not wait until you feel motivated to start creating music or start getting creative with whatever you're doing, okay? So you're sitting on the couch, you're watching TV, you're playing video games, you're feeling like crap, and you're like, well, I want to make music, but I don't feel like making music, so I'm not going to do it yet. It doesn't work that way. So believe it or not, there will be times where you'll hear some music, you'll hear a song, you'll go to a concert, and you'll just be creatively inspired. You're like, oh, I just feel like making music, and then you will go make music. So it can happen the other way around, but most of the time, you're not going to feel that motivation or that excitement for music until you get your butt off of the couch and go sit in front of your computer and go sit in front of your studio. Now, the trick is, though, you don't want to pile up a monstrous task in front of you when you feel like you've got a 1 out of 10 energy. That would be very foolish to do. So what I recommend is if you are in that funk, you're on the couch, you're literally getting home, watching TV, playing video games, whatever, doing anything you can to not go create music because you just don't feel like doing it. Make a goal so small that it's virtually impossible to fail. So one of these would be literally your goal for every day is just to get into your studio and turn on your DAW. That's it. And when you're done, you can sit there for like 2 minutes, look at it and go, not feeling like it. Hit Control Q, quit, get out, mark it, yes, I completed my goal today. Next day, if you're still not feeling like making music, get into your studio, turn on your DAW, hit quit if you're just not feeling it, okay? When you create your goal that small and that like unfailable, you will find that more times than not, when you just put yourself in the studio, just in front of your DAW, energy comes through your fingers. You'll get a little bit of a surge of adrenaline, a little bit of a surge of just a tiny little surge of creativity that comes in. You might want to just open up one little synth, one little drum sample, one little whatever, just play with some stuff. And you'll find that just the act of you moving before you felt motivated will start to train your brain to go, ooh, we're getting into creative mode. Let's start coming up with ideas. Let's start hearing new melodies, new sounds. Let's get creative in this space. So just try to remember, when you're not feeling motivated, that doesn't mean that you can't create music. It just means that you need to take the physical action first before the motivation comes in, okay? And then the last thing is essentially to do and to make sure you are not overwhelming yourself with lofty goals in that state of depression and that state of not feeling good, okay? So it kind of ties into what I just said. But one big thing that I've definitely made the mistake of is when I'm not feeling motivated, what makes me even more demotivated is I start to, in my mind, imagine like, well, I don't even feel like making music, and oh my gosh, if I have to start making music, that means I have to start creating like 2 or 3 tracks a week, and I have to start doing a full album a month, and then I have to get into this, and then oh my gosh, and this. So we start to basically pile up this mountain of work in our heads, which do not need to be there in that mode. In fact, when we are in this sort of funky mode, we need to be as light and as generous and as graceful on ourselves as we possibly can. So literally going the easiest you possibly can, not being a perfectionist and not expecting the world to be coming to you or even completing a full track. I think when we're in that state of mind, don't be worrying about completing a full track. That's not the goal. Completing a track will take care of itself when we're in that state of mind. But getting out of the funk means we just need to program maybe one drum beat, or maybe, like I said, just opening up your DAW. We need to start with something very small and so insignificant that it's almost impossible not to be able to get it done. And sort of go easy on yourself to know, like, once you complete that small, tiny little task, like literally opening up your DAW and closing it, don't beat yourself up for that. Don't say, well, what kind of a producer am I? Like literally, this is as much as I can do today. Yes, sometimes that is as literally as much as I can do in one day. It's literally just go in front of my studio and go, you know what? Not today. But I still mark that down as a success in my mind, because I think my system got me to at least show up, right? I'm not going to feel creative and super excited every single day, but I can consistently sort of touch this place where I do find that creativity. And what happens more often than not is every time I do that, my brain starts to associate creativity and being motivated and getting stuff done with this act of literally just opening up my DAW. So you're basically training yourself like a dog to start to create and bring that energy and that motivation into your life on demand. And that's the ultimate goal of all of this kind of stuff, is that we're not going to just leave it up to chance. We're not just going to wake up and go, how am I feeling? Do I want to make music today? Maybe, maybe not. That's, if you want to do music full time, that luxury is out the window. We really have to let go of that. So we have to take responsibility for ourselves. And this is just one little self-hypnosis act, if you want to call it that, that maybe can get you to consistently have that creativity and that motivation on a daily basis. So that's what I do, and I still do that to this day. And I hope some of you guys can maybe use these tips and get yourself out of the rut that you're in. If you're in a rut, if you're feeling really funky, let me know. Comment below. I'd love to help if any possible way that I can. Maybe just sort of validate how you're feeling, and just know you are not the only one that's ever felt the way you're feeling right now. I've definitely been there, and I know that many of our members in Sync Academy have been there, or maybe are there right now. So if you're new to my channel and you don't know anything about sync licensing, and maybe you want to learn about it and you want to potentially start making some real income with your music, I put together a free sync starter course, which you can access by clicking on the link in the description box of this video. It'll walk you through my entire strategy for how I got started, how I maintain my relevance with these libraries that I've worked with. I'll show you all about the sync fees you earn, all about the royalties, all the stuff that you probably want to learn about this business to decide whether or not it's something that you might want to give a more serious look at and start committing some more of your time and energy to. So that link is in the description box of this video and every single video that I put out there. And of course, if you're new to the channel, welcome, and please do subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you get notified when I put out videos like this. And let's help keep each other motivated and excited and creative, because that's what we are all supposed to do, and that's what our job is here on this planet. So let's try to support each other and create a really cool environment for us to do that here. And I welcome you to the channel. We'll see you very soon, hopefully in the comment section.